welcome back to Al's Fish Tales. Today I'm going to be doing something that I am not looking forward to, but I am looking forward to, and that's going to be changing the substrate on the Fluval Sea Evo. Let me get into showing you guys what I have going on, and hopefully it goes well. So I have moved this tank one time before when I moved to my new house. Actually, I moved all these tanks. There's 4 of them, I think, 4 or 5. Anyway, the way I did that was I used these buckets here, and I was able to basically put everything into buckets and move all the fish safely. Now, it's only like a 10-minute drive from my old house to my new house, but anyway, my plan is to take all the fish and the coral frag rack and the inverts and put them into one bucket. I'm gonna take the rock, put it into the second bucket, and then this third bucket. I had it mixing with this Coral Pro salt. This stuff mixes way quicker than the reef crystals. Now, the tricky part here is going to be that I have an emerald crab in there, and I also have my snails down in the substrate. So I think there's 2 serious snails crawling around in there. So I'm gonna have to try to find those guys and get them out. 5. All right, let's look at the wall temperature. 77.2. My upstairs up here is pretty warm. I don't know why my house does a terrible job of cooling up here. I've even had more insulation added. As you guys may remember, they spilled insulation into both of these tanks. Horrible contractors. First Electric, calling you out. First Electric's contractors. And it caused quite a disaster in here. Killed some of my fish in here. So that's the plan. And recently I had added some rocks that I had, some spare rocks in here just to kind of fill up the tank a little bit more. And I didn't really design them in any particular way, except that there is actually a cave that goes all the way through to the other side there. You can't really see it because I've been playing around in there. But anyway, this is going to be quite the challenge. And let me show you guys something else. So you'll see here I've got some CaribSea rag alive. And then I actually have only read really terrible things about this protein skimmer, but when I was at the store today, I saw it and I was like, you know, I think I just want to give it a try. So I'm going to run that in addition to what I got going on there now. And we'll just kind of see what happens. It's probably not going to stay, but I at least want to give it a shot, see if it changes anything. So yeah, the first thing I'm going to do is, like I said, fill up these buckets, take out the corals, take out the fish, take out anything alive that I can. I'll leave the nymph on whatever rock he's attached to because I don't want to make him more angry, and I just don't really want to touch him. And he's probably stinging the snail, as you can see there. The clownfish are not happy with him. Some other stuff I'm not really going to get into, but I've been looking at like different filtration setups. Like there's some custom 3D printed ones. There's the roller setup that can go in here. There's one with a bunch of different racks and stuff. So anyway, something I may be looking into in the future as well. All right, well, I'm gonna try to get this going now before it gets too terribly late, and wish me luck. All right, I'm kind of in a panic right now, so I'm trying to hurry. Tank's almost empty. I'm gonna take it outside and empty the rest of the substrate out. I've got scooped most of it out in a bowl. Got my rock in here. I just poured some more water over it because some of it's sticking out. Got my fish and filter floss and 1 rock in here and corals and all my inverts I was able to find, except for the emerald crab. I'm sure he's somewhere on one of these rocks. But anyway, I'm gonna hurry up and get out there. All right guys, tank is all washed back out. It is time to get the substrate in here. I'm sweating, had to carry that thing downstairs. Got as much water out of it as I could. All right, time to get the sand in here. I got everything in. That was absolutely terrifying. Got a different rockwork layout right now. Got the protein skimmer in. Got the salinity, everything's good. Double checked everything. And right now I'm just trying to relax for a minute. And I'm looking up videos on dialing in this protein skimmer because right now it's not doing anything, but that might be because the water's pretty clean. So it does seem to be creating quite the swirl back there. You can't see it. Actually, as I say that, it looks like it's finally starting to bubble up a little bit. But hopefully tomorrow this thing will be cleared up and we'll see how it looks and everything's still alive. See one of my hermit crabs there making a big trail, but may redo some of the rock work. I'm not really sure. Yep, that's where we're at. What's up guys? Today is the next day and I spent a lot of time last night. I think it took me until almost 2 a.m. to finish everything, which seems absolutely insane. But wait until you see this. It is a total change of this tank. I'm so happy with it. It's not even close to being done. Let me stop talking and just show you how the tank looks now. The first thing I did was I removed everything, like I think I said earlier. I separated the fish, the corals, the rocks. I found my emerald crab. I found all 3 Nassarius snails. I actually have the substrate in a bowl down here. I went through it all by hand. It took me forever to clean it out, but it was worth it to be able to save all of my inverts, all my hermit crabs, my blue legs. So everything is in here. I reduced the rock by a lot and made just this 2-piece rock setup, and I really like the way it looks. It's simple. I'm going to be able to clean around it. I know that with the sand, it's going to probably get pretty dirty, but at some point, I may be looking into getting something that will help sift the sand besides the Nassarius snails. I went and found my 3D printed frag rack, and I was able to put everything on that. Now, I probably will end up adjusting those as kind of see how the corals like it and the zoas. I've got the 3 zoas on there. The poor Nim, I took him off his rock he was on and put him back in here, and he was looking really angry last night, as expected when I put him on there. But today he's looking nice and fat and happy. The clowns are acting totally normal and happy. My tuxedo urchin, totally happy. I've got the protein skimmer over there. It seems to have collected a little bit, but I also did a 5-gallon water change. So I took 5 gallons of water from about 5 gallons, maybe not exactly, that I kept the fish and inverts in, and then another bucket over here that I kept the rocks in and tried to keep that wet, and then dump that old water back in here along with the same filter floss. The black rabbit goo background on this thing is really making everything pop with the white sand. It looks so much nicer. I do kind of have these foam bubbles going around the outside. I'm not sure if that's from the sand or from the water change, or maybe the protein skimmer is making those bubbles around there. It's not a big deal. Just aesthetically, it looks kind of off. My turbo snail down here, he's still small enough that this tank shouldn't be an issue for him. And so let's talk about the future of this tank now, because it's still not over. Last night, I was able to work with 3D Ocean on Etsy to get the full package for this tank as far as the plug, because if you don't know, the Sea Evo has a hole right there. So he's 3D printed a plug. It's already on its way. He literally at like midnight last night responded to me. I'm shocked. So I'm gonna plug that up, and that's gonna increase the flow around the tank back in the all-in-one filtration setup back here. But I've got the filter for chamber 1 and chamber 2. I'm really trying to decide if I want to run just chamber 2 and keep the protein skimmer. Like I said, this Fluval protein skimmer has really bad reviews, but you can see just in the, probably 12 hours or so it's been on here, it's already collected a little bit. And I don't even have it dialed in. I keep trying to get the bubbles to come up to here and then fine tune it. There might not be enough junk in this water right now to like actually get it to bubble up, or maybe it's just not working right. I've tried backing the screw all the way in and all the way out. Didn't seem to have any luck getting the bubbles to change. I tried the fine adjustment tune on top. But like I said, maybe the water's just too clean right now. Because right now I've just got some filter flush that I've been changing out weekly now, that I keep a small piece, an older piece, and the bottom, and then I rotate every week. That way the bacteria can grow onto the new one that goes in. So I've got the 2 chamber 1 and chamber 2 from 3D Ocean. They're filter baskets, and it comes with its own media and slots for filter floss. And then he's also printing me these translucent green covers that will go over that to match my frag rack. And then he's also sending me random flow generators. So I'll have some translucent green random flow generators that will go on there, and it's just gonna make the tank be absolutely crazy. It's gonna be super bright and popping, which, you know, may not be the taste for some people, but it's my tank. It's what I like. And I really like all the bright fluorescent stuff. It's kind of a stark contrast to the rock, a nice little ocean I have going now. And I'm just so happy with the way this turned out. I was really worried I was gonna like lose something, or just, I mean, there was a lot logistically that had to go into making all of this go into this without killing something or screwing something up. So really, really, really happy with the way it came out. Someone had advised me to take the air stone out, and I was doing some more research on that. And I guess you can create micro bubbles that will mess with your coral and stuff like that. And really, if you have good surface agitation, you shouldn't need an air stone in there anyway. So, you know, that's something coming from freshwater that I wasn't really that aware of. You know, to me, everything, you know, in a tank should have an air stone. You're like, what the heck? Air in a freshwater tank is like an absolute must. So to me, that was just strange, but now I kind of understand it a little bit better. Something on Reef to Reef the other day I was reading, they had a poll up that was, do you test your air in your water? And I think the majority, it was like 99% or something. It was a lot. People were like, no. Like, I mean, you can just kind of look and see, you know, things will not be going well if you're not getting that oxygen exchange. So I've been feeding these corals reefroids twice a week, and I'm not quite sure what's going on with the candy cane. Maybe one of you guys can tell me if that looks okay to you, or should I do anything? Now, I've heard that they like low flow, low light, and I have this nozzle pointed down here. Obviously that one's going up for the surface agitation, but if you guys have any recommendations, if you're pretty good at this, I would really like to know what you would suggest for this candy cane. And the zoas, I think, kind of do well wherever. I think they're more of a hardy thing that can kind of be placed wherever. So I figured I'd leave them on the rack until they grow out a little bit more. But I'm really, really worried about this candy cane because I haven't seen it open up at all. And it's been in here, you know what, a week or two now, and it hasn't done anything except look like that. So if you have any advice for me there, I would really appreciate it. But this is the biggest change, you know, in 2 years. Oh, I haven't even mentioned the other part. So 3D Ocean is sending me that stuff, but I'm also having a custom lid made for this. So it should have a cutout in there. It's not a Kraken reef one. There's another guy on Etsy, and I apologize, I can't remember his name on there right now, but if you look up Sea Evo, Fluval Sea Evo 13.5 gallon, and I think he does one for the 5 gallon as well. I think it's the only lid on Etsy. So I'm pretty excited. Hopefully he gets that in soon, because my lid, one, it's not gonna fit right now. I'd have to recut out slots. As you guys know, I made this lid here just with a sheet of acrylic from the local hardware store, and then I cut it out with a Dremel. But the problem with this acrylic lid is it warped, and yeah, like I said, I would have to cut out that spot over there. Pretty excited about my 3D printed parts coming in. But overall, I'm just really ecstatic about the way this looks now. It certainly, to me, looks much more professional, I guess, than it did before. And it could be, you know, just because the sand right now is still nice and clean and white. If you guys have any recommendations on once the sand is more established, you know, can I put a goby in this tank? I don't know. I don't know if it's big enough. Or should I just keep the Nacerius snails as my cleanup crew for the sand? But I really want something that's going to turn that sand over and keep it nice and clean. But if that means I've got to, you know, gravel vac it and turn it over myself, then so be it, because I just absolutely am in love with the way this looks right now. I mean, it really looks like a miniature ocean right here. So that's gonna be all for now. Let me know what you guys think about everything I've said about the corals, and you know, maybe something for helping me keep the sand turned over. I'll keep you guys updated when my 3D Ocean parts arrive and when my lid comes in. For now, I'm just kind of flopping my ugly lid back over here. And actually, I found the factory light, and actually the factory lid and cover has a spot you pop that cover out, and it actually fits over that. But I was fine tuning it, so I took it off, but I'm gonna keep it on there. I'll set it up there for now. It actually does fit on there perfectly with that. It just looks strange. But all right guys, well, if you liked the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and let me know what you think about the new setup, the new style. To me, I absolutely love it. So thanks for watching, appreciate it. See you guys next time.